similar. Inspired even touched on it in the interview, with both of them being rookies, both of them having very strong lane phases, both of them wanting standard lanes so they can actually flex those laning prowess that they do have. And as you mentioned, Sniper actually got the solo kill last time they played. And there's been an interesting trend as far as the draft goes for these two top laners. Both of them have fairly restricted champion pools. Sniper, we always go over with the Renekton, as well as the Jax, but Thanatos has played 4 Ksante games in a row, and then it was Renekton and Gnar for his other 2 ones. So fairly predictable champions pools for these two, and it's really about how they actually play out the lane phase.
On top of that, Jojo played Corki 4 games in a row in their last series against FlyQuest. Different priorities for sure right off the bat, though, with the first pick Misfortune.
Yeah, first pick MF for C9. It's Azir, Smolder, and Lilia banned out by them. Nasus, Ezreal, Rumble banned out on the other side. Yesterday, we saw Misfortune have problems into a comp with a lot of answers for interrupting the ulti. And with this being the first pick for C9, I want to see 100 Thieves be able to put together something that can shut it down.
And the Ziggs right away is something that can just press R when Misfortune presses R, and there's a 75% of Misfortune's health threat with that one button press, and it is generally the answer when someone early picks the Misfortune like that. So 100 Thieves very willing to go with what I think is going to be Ziggs bot lane. I'm 95% sure for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, especially with the double lock in here, because you're always pairing Ziggs with some melee support to be able to go roam around for you. Ziggs is very good at focusing on the minion wave and clearing those out, or going for satchel charge kill combos, but slamming down the LeBlanc right now for Jojo. We're going back to like OG Jojo stuff here. Very excited to see this one.
And we're also going back to Thanatos' best champion. I think one of the things that happened whenever these guys played FlyQuest, and even yesterday we got to see this, if Renekton was open for the red side team, it was taken in the first 2 picks. Because 100 Thieves didn't do that, C9 picks it right away. And for Thanatos, it is his winningest champion of the split, probably his best champion. So all of these first 3 picks, that's the damage for Cloud9. That's this blind pick. We're going to try and win lane with our very strong picks.
And I love it, because Cloud9, you heard Inspired. He was kind of disappointed. He was like, what the heck? You guys been doing Corki, and it's so hard for jungle to play when you have Corki mid. Guess what? LeBlanc is the go-to assassin. So easy to set up kills for your jungler. So now we're going to look down the line at what jungler Blaber is going to be able to play. Some AD threat that will also have high pressure that can come play off of Jojo in the mid lane. Honestly, regardless of the matchup. And I also want to keep hyping up this LeBlanc, because on patch 14-17 is where those nerfs came in. The solo queue oriented nerfs for LeBlanc, but we're still on 14-16. So this is pre-nerf. This is full power. Big abuse here from mid-jungle.
Okay, so in the second half of the bans, it's Yasuo banned out by C9, respecting the pocket pick for Quid alongside the Vi. 100 Thieves banning out the Poppy. And Kobe, when you're talking about AD junglers that love to scrap early and be active with LeBlanc, Lee Sin is one of LeBlanc's best friends. 100 Thieves do not want to allow that to go through.
And I think that's actually a very smart ban by 100 Thieves, because that is actually the combo that can attack mid lane whenever you want. And the shoe is going to be completely on the other foot with the way they banned out Yasuo and already taken LeBlanc. Quid's playing Corki. He's playing the less aggressive mid-jungle by default, and let's see what Blaber tries to pair with this LeBlanc. And it doesn't need to be a LeBlanc pair. It could be a Renekton pair as well with this Nidalee hover. I'm not shocked if he locks it in.
All right, it's locked in. I am the LCS resident Nidalee hater, but the hate subsides a little bit when they've got Renekton in the same draft, just because of the way that that duo works together so well. But when you lock in Nidalee, that to me is always a big flashing light that says, I have confidence, have faith that I can accelerate this game. If you do not accelerate the game, that pick is not going to work. Vulcan on the Alistar as the final pick here for C9, and the last pick of the draft for 100 Thieves is Maokai for River.
And you can accelerate a game in different ways as a Nidalee jungle. I know everyone is going to be drawn to the classic combo, Renekton stun into Nidalee, and them being differing damage types. But Nidalee also has the ability to invade a Maokai and steal away a Maokai's camps and get way ahead in CS. It doesn't have to come from those kills, especially since your opponent is a Ksante. And even though Corki could rush early magic resist, and honestly should, Nidalee plus LeBlanc is still a combo you can pull off, even though you know the Corki he is going to be investing in some MR.
So if we're talking about early magic resist for Corki, are you talking just wanting to see a no magic mantle, Mercury treads, or like full hex drinker here?
No magic mantle is very cheap and very...
When Cloud9 played FlyQuest, they were the ones playing the Corki Ksante try and outscale and win late game team fights. And when 100 Thieves had their 5-game series against Dignitas, they were playing up-tempo, high execution the entire time. But I feel like since C9 have committed so hard to this hyper-aggressive early game, LeBlanc doesn't even have flash, by the way. They've committed to this ignite, teleport, LeBlanc.
That's Chad.
That 100 Thieves almost by default said, okay, well, we'll just try and keep up and win late game. But I just want to point out, that's completely different than the style 100 Thieves played to get to this point.
And I would say my read here for Cloud9 is that they're saying with 100 Thieves being our opponent now, this is not a FlyQuest, this is not a Team Liquid that are going to out macro us later. This is not a team that is going to prefer lane swaps. This is going to be like kind of a fair standard fight basically versus 100 Thieves, and they're not really worried about them in the late game. So they just go, you know what? We'll all in on our early game because we know we are actually a similar style of team and we are just way better at it. So they slam a bunch of this very offensive stuff, and even Jojo, as you said, going for the ignite over the flash. Now I'm even more looking forward to Blaber's early invades because you have Renekton on top side, you've got LeBlanc with ignite in mid lane. So Cloud9 pressure, honestly, it's going to get started very quickly.
I mean, I'm right there with you, Kobe. I feel like this is C9 just saying, yeah, we are the better team. You're going to have to prove us otherwise, or we're just going to play stuff like this. The misfortune slammed first, allowing the enemy team to pick anything they want to deal with that, I feel like was the first indicator of that sort of a mindset.
Meanwhile, as we continue to focus on this LeBlanc pick for Jojo here, it was one of his very, very prominent early on picks, and people really feared his laning power and his ability to get so many kills and carry games with this champion. The nerfs that came in on the next patch that is live, if you're going to try this at home, are the AP ratio nerfs on Sigil of Mouse as well as Distortion, but you can still go for similar trading patterns like we've observed so far from Jojo. From the very beginning, you always go for these distortions plus autos. Yep. LeBlanc is very good at that. At the early levels, being able to get a spell plus an auto on someone is just such an advantage in so many mid lane matchups. And he has gone for the electrocute version, so he even sticks around, gets those electrocute procs.
She also has a really clean auto attack animation, right? It's a very snappy one. Some of these older mages, especially champions that were released like over a decade ago in mid lane, they have really slow, wound up auto attacks. LeBlanc doesn't do any of that. It's so easy to execute on that.
Yeah, you go in with the distortion and immediately do the auto and immediately snap back, and it's just very difficult for many champions to trade back. Sometimes we'll see the Corki try and time the Foss Bomb trades, which is what you get into later. And some Corkis in the past even have taken exhaust, but not this time around.
Talking about some of the other lanes, though, because they had early vision on River in this top jungle, Thanatos was already able to go back, clear the wave, and have a really beneficial recall timer. Going back, getting boots, longsword, and then just really being able to save his TP and walk all the way back to this lane. He'll catch almost all of those minions. So early top lane has gone great for Thanatos' Renekton. Yeah,
the advantage of your solo laners having some pushing matchups here, and now we get to see the cat in action. Blaber wants to take advantage of that power on top lane. Yep. So Blaber's Crabbers will go to the top side Scuttle Crab. And meanwhile, they should know and be very aware that bottom side is going to be the area for River. So you see Jojo hovering to his control ward, hovering to his jungler. Don't want to ever over chase here as 100 Thieves, but they will be able to, with the sapling, push them out and take down that control ward. It's honestly a big investment early on, being able to get that control ward early. Feels so good, because you know Jojo wants to look for kills on Quid, wants to constantly distortion forward, go for these trades, soften him up so he can use his ignite and actually get kill credit.
Exactly, the ignite versus the flash, making the safety that much more imperative. So we're talking about mid lane a lot. I also think top lane is so interesting this game because we're talking about how both these guys are young players. They're both very aggressive in lane, and then they can get a little bit too aggressive once laning phase ends. Yeah. They're on the staple top lane matchup. Like, if you can't play Renekton, Ksante from either side, what are you doing playing top lane right now?
And I will also say the laning phase has not been the problem for either of these guys. It's been the team fight phase, and it's also been about when or when not to initiate. they're both laning quite well. I do want to call out, though, Eyla has been mid a lot. Like, his roam top was what originally allowed them to clear that ward, and then after recall, he came straight out mid lane again to keep Jojo pushed in, and they haven't lost anything bottom lane from it because of the Ziggs push.
Exactly. That's why you always pair Ziggs with one of these melee supports to be able to go influence the rest of the map. He's so good at handling the waves. And right now, Thanatos has been doing a good job himself, by the way, of keeping control of the wave for the past couple of minutes. He was able to prune it and keep it pushing towards him. So his CS lead should continue to grow here, doing a very nice job.
And I think you can kind of tell how even top lane has been by the state of the teleport cooldowns. A little bit of trading in bottom, but it probably shouldn't turn into a whole lot here. The teleport cooldowns in mid are already almost halfway done, and a lot of times you'll see all 4 solo laner teleports pretty close in the early game as everybody goes back for that first recall, but neither one of the top laners has had to use theirs until just now as Sniper casts his. River showing up mid again. 100 Thieves just always with this little bit of drive-by pressure to keep Quid farming safe. And
I gotta say that 100 Thieves has played this early game quite well, especially keeping the jungle CS as close as it is. They didn't get double crabbed. Blaber hasn't been able to counter jungle anything yet. C9 hasn't been able to take away any crabs. We're probably going to see our first action here at the Krugs with Blaber moving up and Renekton having level 6.
Okay, so first grub has already gone over to the Maokai, but there's going to be a dive down to the bottom lane at the same time as Vulcan engages with a headbutt pull, but Tomo with a flash out, going to be staying safe for now. River soaks the spear up by the grub pit at the same time, securing the second one of those. Tomo still alive with about 100 HP, but it's first blood for Berserker as the last minion gives him enough time to walk in there and take that away as the last Void Grub is stolen by Blaber in the top side River.
Yeah, nice punish here from Cloud9, seeing that they have Eyla roaming once again and actually pulling off the dive. They get the flash out of Tomo as well as getting the kill because Vulcan's able to tank the tower long enough to allow Berserker to actually reset. And there's 1 minion left, so Berserker's like, you know what? Wait for my Q to come back up. You are a dead Ziggs walking right now. Waits for the Q to come back up, finish him off. So good punish on seeing them go for the grubs, but you could tell what the idea from 100 Thieves was to take away that early pushing power, that grub buff that Cloud9 would use to accelerate and actually start to take down towers and snowball an early game comp.
And that was very close to being a very good 100 Thieves play if Tomo could have found a way to clear that last minion, because Eyla had been leaving him so often, and that was the first time that Cloud9 was actually able to punish it. The cherry on top for Cloud9 is the fact that Blaber did steal that 1 grub, though, so that means they still have the window for 4.
Yeah, it was our first real big action sequence here in the early game. Reminder that today's winner takes on FlyQuest on Friday, with TL waiting on Saturday for the LCS Championship. Perfect timing. We just released more seats. Head on over to riot.com/LCS Championship to claim your seat at the YouTube Theater. See who can take that title, take that trophy, take that crown. But before we get there, we still got to decide who our third competitor is going to be, and Jojo snaps Quid with some damage.
And honestly, we haven't seen that Ignite button pressed yet. I'm kind of disappointed, guys.
Well, ask and you shall not receive.
I want to see some fire.
Did you like that old mastery back in the day where you just walk up and ignite the guy at level 1 for 5 AD?
I would use that for sure. Honestly, though, because if you're looking at later into the game, when you're playing a LeBlanc, the only thing you're usually worried about is if the enemy has point-and-click CC, and that's exactly what Maokai is.
Yeah.
So usually, if
okay, Vulcan's ambitious.
Yeah, he's a little bit far forward, and remember the cow is still only level 5, so there's no unbreakable will if he does get caught there, but he can escape pretty easily.
So usually, if the LeBlanc is able to get the early lead, then you become this annoying poke machine, basically, and you start to camp Fog of War, and you go for these distortion bursts on people. But if the enemy has a point-and-click like Maokai, then you actually have the possibility of getting punished. If he goes in and he twisted advance you, there's a plenty of AoE on 100 Thieves, and you just try and burst down the LeBlanc while it is rooted temporarily. But bottom lane is the focus at the moment.
Eyla going in for the flash engage. They want Vulcan. They know how squishy he is without that ultimate. Bullet time forces them back from any sort of an additional follow-up, but 100 Thieves doing a nice job there, picking up their first kill.
Yeah, Vulcan wasn't level 6 yet, so he was quite squishy for the Ziggs alt combo. That is a much-needed kill for 100 Thieves because the gold was getting a little bit out of control for them. You can see almost a 1,500 gold lead already opened up for Cloud9, so the kill's going to be nice. Unfortunately, it went over to River, and it didn't allow them to actually get priority on this Drake. So Blaber's just going to kind of continue doing what he's been doing. And Thanatos is having a great time top lane 1v1.
Oh, he's enjoying that one, and Quid is not struggling a whole lot here in mid lane against JoJo's LeBlanc, it would seem. We were talking about the defensive itemization at the very end of the draft. He has gone for the Merc Treads Rush just to make sure he's that much faster to try to get away. He's that much more resilient against some of that early damage she might get. And now 100 Thieves looking to once again control this topside river. Remember, they were the ones starting the first pot of grubs. They got 2 out of the 3, and now with 10 seconds left on the clock before that second one spawns, they want to contest again.
Yeah, even with the price increase on Merc Treads, it's so much value versus Nidalee plus LeBlanc, and then even Renekton flash stuns for later, because usually Renektons will target you know, the backline carries and try and use their flashes later. Right now, though, Thanatos should be fine. It's just basically double tanks in front of him, and he has Vulcan in the river.
Yeah, you just want to annoy the guy, push him back a little bit, make sure that he's always thinking twice before stepping up, because your team wants to start the grubs.
Interesting lane situation here. Jojo is bot, free hitting the wave and slowly pushing it to turret. He has his teleport if C9 want to fight, and here it comes.
They do. Jojo's ready to make his way into the fight. The first grub is down to about 800 HP. River and the rest 100 Thieves looking to secure that one for themselves. They've got it. Cloud9 still looking for their entry into the fight now. Thanatos on the side. Vulcan makes the engagement. It's only under River. Thanatos here with the dominance, but he's in the middle of everybody. Thanatos is way too far forward, and Sniper gets a headshot. Vulcan in the middle now of all 100 Thieves. Bullet time comes through, but all it does is force them back for an extra second. The Void Grub still being taken low. Blaber doing a good job walking up there to steal away a second the same way he did the first time, but 4 out of 6 ain't bad. 100 Thieves will at least secure the baby Void Grub spawns.
And that is a perfect fight for 100 Thieves. Not only do they control the grubs, they get JoJo's teleport, and they slow down Thanatos in the top lane, who was accruing quite a big lead. At the start of this fight, you could see C9 just can't find the right way in. Thanatos and Vulcan both swing and kind of miss.
Yeah, I want to point out Maokai diff here, because Vulcan actually goes combo onto River, but he's Maokai with a locket. You saw that big shield on everybody? Locket early on especially is such high value for everyone in a full-on team fight, and then he got the root onto the Renekton. He didn't even have to use it on the LeBlanc, like lock down anyone on the front line here. He got the lockdown. The Maokai ultimate went through, and then Ayla's follow-up on the Rell. It was just like 100 Thieves. Really nice second grub fight. And as you said, their goal originally is just to get 2-4 anyway, since one of them was stolen previously. So they accomplished that goal with just 4 grubs anyway. Very nice stuff from the 100 Thieves.
And I gotta remind everyone, the way that 100 Thieves team comp is set up, it definitely feels like they're gonna be outscaling. You can see a little bits of it in that fight. They have true front line, they have strong engage from Eyla and River, and they have a lot of damage from Quid and Tomo, who are both off to pretty good starts. Meanwhile, C9, they kind of need to win these skirmishes or have really good positioning for Berserker bullet times, neither of which happened in that last team fight. So from an execution standpoint with these two comps, I'd say 100 Thieves has actually slightly outplayed C9 in the first 13 minutes.
But we do have to keep in mind C9 is winning in terms of farm in multiple roles, as you would expect in the jungle. We've already talked about Thanatos doing a good job controlling things here in the top lane. The biggest gold lead on the map is actually Berserker versus Tomo, because he's at plus 20 on the Misfortune, already has his Bloodthirster completed with 4 stacks left to still farm on the call. That's going to be another gold spike for him. So C9 are getting value out of these early game picks, but we're going to need to see that team fight come together to make sure that 100 Thieves doesn't just keep scaling for free like you're talking about.
I'm going to need to see this LeBlanc kill someone. I'm going to need to see.
Okay, we want that Ignite money.
I want to see. He's got his gun now.
He used the Ignite.
He used it in Ignite. It didn't burn anyone all the way down, but he does have the Ludens now, so it does have some burst potential.
It's a little tricky, though, because Quid has the Mercury Treads, Eyla, Ksante, and Maokai are all tanks, and Tomo is far away in most cases.
So here's something interesting. Rift Herald spawning just now. There is 1 stack left on Blaber's jungle item. If he can get rid of that stack and fully evolve his smite, they will have a decided advantage in some sort of a smite fight against 100 Thieves, because River still has 5 stacks left to remove on his own. So 100 Thieves falling back right now as Cloud9 takes control over the topside River.
Yeah, I think C9 should still be able to control the neutrals here, get your Rift Herald charge, be able to use that towards mid lane, continue to increase their gold lead that they do have. And then they'll open up more angles for the LeBlanc to be able to combo people, to pick people off.
There we go from Vulcan. River's eating a whole lot of damage from the bullet time. Twisted advance to try to get himself away, but it ain't going to be good enough as Jojo takes him out. Thanatos into the back now, locking up Tomo. The Rift Herald secured by Blaber as the Ziggs barely walks out. Thanatos trying to get away from Sniper, who's gone all out and looking to deal with them. 100 Thieves fumble the ball. Cloud9 gets the objective plus a kill.
We were expecting 100 Thieves to give that one, and that's why, because they didn't have good vision for that approach, and they allowed C9 to deal so much damage to River before they could really retaliate.
Yeah, honestly, I was expecting them to back off too, but they go straight for it. And this time, the difference is on Vulcan's combo, the bullet time is channeling. And so they actually get their kill onto River. And with Vulcan having access to his ultimate there, he does not go down in trade kill. Even though Thanatos isn't able to finish off Tomo because of good peel from Sniper, it is still so worth here. Cloud9 with the extra kill on top of the objective that we thought they were just going to grab.
I think Tomo had to be down to like 10 or 20 HP in that last, because the make it rain was over top of his character, and I was watching it just whittle away.
That was a hero play from Sniper coming in and tackling him away, but Sniper now...
Oh, he pops the Pathmaker already. He wanted to try to use that to buffer through the CC from Vulcan, but he popped it a little bit too early. Vulcan knew exactly what the play was going to be, read him like a book, and that's another kill of it at Cloud9 now. They're 2,500 gold up, wanting to make it 3 here with this turret claimed in the bottom lane. First turret of the game as Eyla now once again in a bad spot. It's a 3v2, but Quid and Tomo are both ready to arrive. 100 Thieves firing back a little bit here, but C9's calling in troops of their own. Jojo makes his way into the fight. Vulcan still chasing. River with a flash away. Tomo doing the same. 100 Thieves still looking at maybe there's a little more, but no, sir. It's almost a 3,500 gold lead for C9.
Still pushing the lead here. They got their tower on the bottom side as well for Cloud9 and can turn on Dragon. As long as they don't get chunked any longer.
It's tight. Sniper is revived and running down the mid lane. I don't think 100 Thieves want to give this one away. River's going to approach. He still has Maokai ultimate.
Eyla is at about 300, 400 HP. This is not a very safe spot for him to be. Vulcan goes into the engage on Quid. River now in a tight spot as well. Thanatos finds the first kill on Eyla, and 100 Thieves are sent running yet again. Jojo goes after Tomo, needs a little bit more damage. Bullet time, cutting him to pieces. Sniper trying to get one back on Blaber. Needs more damage, but he can't find it. 100 Thieves again are tempted into a situation where they feel like they need to fight, and Cloud9 sit them down.
And Cloud9 is just applying so much pressure to 100 Thieves. It starts with the original kill onto Sniper, and that entire run of play is turret to the Dragon. Let's check out the 3-person gank here, where it's just a little bit before 100 Thieves expected, and Maokai and Rell couldn't make it a 3v3 quite in time.
Yeah, earlier move from C9 after the reset, after the Herald fight. Nice kind of wrap around on Ksante, knowing Ksante had no ultimate. It was the key for them actually going for that play. And then picking off extra kills here. Thanatos over in the tri-bush grabbing that one. And noting the spears that Blaber hit, not only this one where he was able to then jump in and actually get the kill onto Corki, but also the 2 other ones pushed 2 members of 100 Thieves out of the fight. First he hit River, pushed River out of the fight, even though he doesn't get the kill there. Then he was able to hit one onto Eyla as well. Push him.
I thought he was gonna jump on him.
I'm ready. The action has been quick.
He's got no flash, man.
The action has been quick this game.
Nope. Jojo's still just fine for now. Eyla moving up here as well to clear out that ward. Dragon 2-0, the count for C9. 4,000 gold ahead. Baron's not going to spawn for another minute and a half, so the Rift Herald's going to be summoned up here in mid lane. Just a charge alone will be enough to finish off this tier 1 turret. Berserker's going to push up the rest of the wave here. Escort this one in. Kaboom. Let's see if they want to really care about getting the second charge. Not sure whether or not they do. Jojo jumping in after Quid here. Has to reset that position. River cannot get on top of him in time. And now Vulcan and Blaber coming around to complete the job. Unbreakable will used for the tower dive. It's just too easy, man. But now the price might be paid by the Cloud9 jungler. Blaber's locked up, and there's enough damage for 100 Thieves to take him out. Make it a 1-for-1 trade.
I mean, we knew something eventually was going to happen with the way Jojo was pressing Distortion up in that top lane. It ends up being a 1-for-1 trade because Blaber ends up getting caught at the very end of that engagement. One note that I want to make as we approach later and later teamfights is about how spread out C9 can actually make fights. Because if they are close together where multiple people can get hit by the Rell engage and the Ziggs and Corki AoE, that's the way that 100 Thieves could negate this 4,000 gold lead. But if we see more fights where you have a Renekton flash stunning over on one side while Jojo 2,000 units away is distorting in. Those are the fights where C9 is going to be able to dominate.
I think that's why 100 Thieves focused so much early on trying to get those Void Grubs so they could keep their towers up longer so they would have more defense. But Cloud9 are about to finish off all of the outer towers and accomplish that goal of opening up the map. So now you get so much room to play with for your LeBlanc and your Nidalee, who are walking around hunting through Fog of War, and Thanatos, who has been crushing it since lane phase. 2 items on the Renekton now as well. Has the Sterix for the extra tankiness. Not tanky enough to deal with 4 people at once, but he's doing a very good job utilizing the vision from the plants there to be able to play safely. Even though Ziggs can just blow up the tower on the bottom side, the rest of Cloud9 push mid and top.
And the problem with going for grubs early, giving up those dragons to your opponents, the grubs are a down payment. You have to be able to see the dividends on those by taking enemy turrets. 100 Thieves only just now got their first turret of the game, the bottom lane tier 1. Not a very useful turret, and Cloud9 has already claimed 3, almost 4, with the mid lane tier 2 nearly dead as well.
I will say, though, because they had the down payment and gave away the Drakes, they got a tax break with the objective bounty and the bot lane. So some of the interest they paid was refunded at the end of the year.
I see, I see.
Yes, of course. How did I not see
They were shorting themselves, so then they could actually reap the benefits later. And now they are in a sizable gold disadvantage. It has steadily climbed for Cloud9 in addition to those dragons, the gold lead. And this is what is the most painful point of the game for 100 Thieves. Because this is the point of the game where Cloud9 will constantly group up. You see Blaber and Vulcan working in tandem. Alistar is just so tanky right now. Vulcan gets to go lead the way for him to go get vision. And then once you establish your vision through the 100 Thieves jungle, then you start to look for these picks in transition between objectives. And just try and make it harder for 100 Thieves to farm minions.
Yeah. And also, they need to make it really difficult for 100 Thieves to walk into any of these spots to contest the Drake, and that's what they're doing a really good job of right now. They have mid lane push deep. Renekton is much stronger than Ksante at the moment, so he can push deep the bottom lane, and it just means it's very, very hard for 100 Thieves to actually contest this third Drake.
And even though 100 Thieves denied them, you know, many Void Grubs, Cloud9 still are going to have split pushing LeBlanc, annoying as ever, up there with 2 items as well. Horizon Focus, 5 stacks on the Darksteel for Jojo. While the rest of the team is trying to delay around this dragon.
C9 kind of let him in, though. They just gave away mid push, and they're completely in river because of the Jojo top push.
He's teleporting in for the flank
as well.
Yeah, keep your eyes on Vulcan. He's always ready to go in for these engages. 100 Thieves is clumped up pretty tightly. The engage only finds Sniper. He's going to be fine for now.
Boy.
He goes all out, and he drags Thanatos into the middle of everybody. Sterix keeps him alive. Thanatos gets away. Bullet time looking to peel, but Sniper cuts him up. 100 Thieves find their angle.
They stun locked him. Jojo stayed at the teleport for Quid to arrive, and then they just brought Thanatos back into the rest of them while the other half of the team was staring at the other side of the team fight, and Sniper jumps back in to make sure he cannot escape, getting the kill, getting that dragon.
And keep your eyes on Thanatos in this fight, because the way C9 loses fights is when he's trying to get aggro and no one else on C9 can hit. Not only did they pull him away, the Maokai ultimate prevented Berserker from actually walking up to follow through, so by the time he's almost dead, C9 finally enters the fight. This was very well played by 100.
Jojo was sitting at the teleport arrival, not attacking anyone, and Berserker got 0 auto attacks off. He was by the dragon. There were no Misfortune auto attacks, just the ultimate and then flash away. So both of the C9 carries got very, very, very little damage off there, and that's how 100 Thieves are able to actually get the kill, actually get another cash-in on another objective bounty. And the neutral ones, the ones on Dragon and neutral objectives are actually even bigger than the ones on the towers there, so 100 Thieves cutting down a little bit more on that C9 lead.
And even if there was no objective bounty, they critically stop Cloud9 from moving to Soul Point. They prevent that dire situation where now every 5 minutes you're feeling the blade hanging over your head, hoping that that soul doesn't end up becoming the win con way earlier than you'd want.
And this is the moment where I feel like Cloud9 fans are getting very nervous, because the game was going quite well. They were extending their leads, they were winning skirmishes, but that moment, if we look back, could actually be when 100 Thieves manages to stall the snowball and eventually win the game. Also, if they get a pick onto Quid or Tomo and take Baron, it's going to be completely fine. But that moment, getting that Drake, is actually so crucial in maintaining 100 Thieves' chances of winning this game.
If I was a betting man, I would say the analyst desk is going to review that Dragon fight right there, because the analyst desk was already talking about that problem for Cloud9 with being so desynced in the team fight that their carries are unable to get any damage out. That doesn't mean that they have no chance now. They still have this big lead, right?
Yeah.
They very easily can retake control of this game. They just have to have better positioning at the start and go in at the same time, a little bit closer to your carries.
Berserker and Thanatos have to have a level of connection. He can't be more than a bullet time away from Berserker at any time, I feel like, because when they're doing damage to Thanatos, Berserker has to be allowed to do damage to them. That's what they've been missing.
But I gotta give props to Sniper for that, because Thanatos was originally in range of where the bullet time would help. Now Vulcan's going in, 3-man pulverized, bullet time coming in back over the top as Eyla tries to lock up Cloud9. Health bars are dropping fast, and Jojo's the first to fall. 100 Thieves already have 2, and they don't wanna stop. 100 just popped the enemy solo laners, and Baron's on the menu.
And this could be what slingshots 100 Thieves back ahead. Somehow, some way, they win one more fight. Even though Thanatos thought he found the angle, Locket just absorbed that entire engage, and now they're just going to get the Baron.
Couple of fights here, one with the rush for Locket. Baron's going to get picked up. Honestly, the market manipulation by 100 Thieves has been genius. The objective bounties were up for every objective that they've taken.
They have claimed way more than the standard deduction on their insurance payments. They are just way cash positive out of this objective bounty trade.
All right, let's take a look at the team fight again, because it is a blast cone initiation from Thanatos.
It really was. He stacks up enough rage to go in here, and they try and combo it with the Alistar, but if you look at who actually gets caught by the bullet time, it's like 3 hits on Quid and a little bit of damage on Eyla, so the bullet time really doesn't get that much value, and then by that time, LeBlanc and Renekton are down. How did Jojo die?
It's Ayla's counter-engage. Ayla's counter-engage there was massive. It locked up all of C9 as they were trying to pile in and follow up on Thanatos, and it made it so nobody could survive. The bullet time was only hitting Cloud9 guys.
That's not good.
No, there's no friendly fire in this game.
And the initiation, actually, the double knock up there from Vulcan at the beginning was pretty nice. Got the flash out of Tomo at the very least, but the counter engage was just so much better. And again, the LeBlanc, like, AoE is the downfall of LeBlanc. The point and click, and then if you're just able to layer enough AoE on top, like the passive doesn't even matter when she goes in Viz, just burst down the area where she was. 100 Thieves now with the Baron buff as another dragon approaches.
And Thanatos is trying to fight as well at the same time as
River's already made his way into the fight, and Jojo's about to get bursted down. Quid takes him out, and Eyla with another beautiful lockup. C9 is crumbling in front of the Thieves. The gold lead finally back in 100's hands. Tomo's ready to teleport into the bottom lane to use the Baron to push into the tier 2. Cloud9 will not be in fighting shape for the Drake, so they'll lose another opportunity for Soul Point. 100 Thieves, damn, they're looking good in this mid-game.
River and Eyla are able to just run at them. The Maokai goes in, gets the initiation, Ziggs bomb over the top, then the second engage from Eyla, and now 100 Thieves with the remnants of this Baron buff. 1 minute left on it. They're inside the base already.
We were talking back at the start of this game about how this draft from C9 looked like they were confidently saying, we're just a better team. You're not going to outplay us. We're going to run over you. And 100 Thieves just ran that car off the road.
That has been a 5,000 gold comeback and a 6,500 gold Baron power play. Look at Renekton up in the top of this fight, never makes the approach, and really just watch Jojo. They lock him down with River, they blast him back, and then Eyla comes in over the top after the Maokai all roots him. It was actually all Maokai, then Eyla gets the rest of the team fight.
Exactly. That's what we're talking about at the beginning of the game with the problems that LeBlanc faces with the point and click from Maokai. And River actually played it perfectly, because not only did he get the initial play with the flash twisted advance that we mentioned, but his ulti,
he's flashing over the wall again. The twisted advance on top of the Nature's Grasp. River knows that Jojo cannot deal with them. Vulcan doesn't even get a chance to do anything back. River continues chasing. This tree has no fear. Quid and Eyla right behind him. Jojo has done nothing but run for the last 3 fights.
That tree is all gas, no brakes. River is going in. I love to see it too, especially after the last series that we had yesterday, where there was a small transition from like a Mumu priority into Maokai priority. It's been fun to watch the evolution over this playoffs. And now 100 Thieves, I mean, they're the ones, as stated at the very beginning, with very, very easy team fight here. Just straight running them over like a truck. Now they're again at the door here for another inhibitor tower. Bottom's already taken, and the supers are going in the base. Vulcan tries to peel a little bit.
Okay, 100 Thieves have broken the first inhibitor turret. They got to be a little bit careful here. Eyla at 1/3 HP. Thanatos still moving forward off to the side, but the rest of Cloud9 isn't there. They're not going to follow. So 100 Thieves, they'll break into the enemy base. They'll get the inhibitor bot, expose inhibitor top. That first Nexus turret is also taking a ton of damage, and the Thieves are up 4K.
Man, I hope we see that River Maokai play again. He was just 1v3, nearly solo killing Jojo at the start of that fight. If that's not a ringing endorsement of the difference between late game Maokai and late game Nidalee, I don't know what is, because he's just walking down the solo laner that was pretty fed early game in Jojo.
Where's my Nidalee heal?
I mean, look at this guy. He just... This is all he cares about. He doesn't care who shows up from Cloud9. Yeah. He's just going to stay on Jojo this whole time.
Try and damage me.
Flash W.
My goodness. Just wears him down. Teammate shows up, don't care.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing is always this Ziggs. You know, Tomo looks very far away. We've been focusing on how far away from your carries you are, but it doesn't matter with Ziggs.
Just press the R.
All right. Nature's Grasp is flying in, and Cloud9 will be forced away from their last remaining Tier 3 turret. All of those now rubble thanks to 100 Thieves. Mid lane inhibitor about to drop, but just barely hanging on. It's still burning to the void damage. But the Corki rockets are a little bit more threatening. Yeah. Now only that one inhib left here in the top lane. 100 Thieves is going to clear that out.
That's 3 inhibs.
Yeah, 100 Thieves now with double super minions every single lane. They don't have Baron or anything, but they have so much pressure. That first Nexus turret is only regenerated back to half HP. Quid doing a great job poking at these guys. Jojo's got to be careful every time he distorts forward. You know 100 Thieves are going to be looking for him. Tomo with the satchels on the Ziggs. It's so easy to clear out these turrets. Vulcan wants to engage. Bullet time does a little, but it's only hitting Sniper. Vulcan's already down. Thanatos, Guardian Angel popped. Jojo dropped. Cloud9 stopped in their tracks. 100 Thieves say damn the doubters and take game number 1.
Tomo drops one last nuke on them at the fountain, and that'll do it. 100 Thieves. Everyone is against them. Everyone was doubting them, including me. Cloud9, the favorites here, the top 3, the triumvirate of the LCS that has ruled us all summer split, starting to crumble here. 100 Thieves fighting against the currents, and they are winning.
And this means that Cloud9 now have to win 3 of the next 4 games for their season to continue. This is an elimination game for both of these guys. What a massive Game 1 statement. 100 Thieves didn't even have side select before this one. They picked scaling as well when they beat Thanatos with early game. So they're showing they can do it all, and they showed up in Game 1.
Today's winner takes on FlyQuest on Friday.